You know what I'm after. Everything else is yours for the taking.
We hit him hard, so you don't have much time. By the gods, I've got to get out of this business.
What? No! No! It's mine! I had it in my hands!
Return to Krondor is based on a fantasy setting created by the novelist Raymond Feist. Released in 1998, it is one of my favorites. The developers, 7th Level, were an animation company that tweaked their animation engine to run an RPG. Though most fans love Betrayal at Krondor and hate Return to Krondor, I love Return to Krondor. It has amazing voice acting and 3D graphics, though it's kind of dated as of now. I loved the atmosphere, the sound design, and the linear story. Though it might not be for everyone, it hooked me since the first time I played it. Let's get the game's flaws out of the way with first. A lot of people can't get it to run, though I was able to get it to run on Windows 10 by sheer dumb luck. The RPG side of things are a little broken, and can leave you soft blocked if you don't spend your points in the right area and you don't get good enough gear before you progress the story. One of the party members leaves right in the middle of the story and takes everything with him that you gave to him. It's a linear story with no real way to have your choices truly affect the story. Though I don't consider this a bad thing, some might, and there are a few scenarios where some of the side quests have different ways of going about handling a situation. The movement scheme is archaic. It's like it was built in 1998. Which it was. The cameras are static, the enemies can fall off the screen, so you can't loot them, and the combat menu is clunky. If it's your first time playing, you need a guide to see what to spend your points on to not get soft blocked. Inventory management is a pain, and it will be what you're spending half of your time doing. There's no loot all button. You have to manually drag and drop everything. It's an old and unpopular game, so the community support is very much lacking. There are no useful tooltips in-game. You can't tell if your armor is better than the last one, you just kind of have to guess. And lastly, some of the quests I had to look up in order to figure out what I needed to do. Now with all the flaws out of the way, let's go over the things that I love about this game, and the reason why I come back to it time and time again. The art, voice acting, and sound direction is just amazing.
Begging your pardon, Squire, but a Keshian, so close to our prince?
Set your minds at rest, gentlemen. I have taken oath and will swear fealty. Your prince is my lord, and like you, I shall defend him unto death.
Your pardon, milady. We are honored to have you in Krondor.
My thanks to you, sir.
Carry on, gentlemen.
I love the little clicky clicky click when you pick stuff up and drop it off. There's a feature in this game called Identify where you're able to take a potion or magic item and then see if it's poison or not, see if it's something useful for you. And part of this is if you go to a store and you look at the gold value for each of the potions, and if it's 75 gold, you know that that potion is a potion of poison. I love that there are no filler quests in this game, or collectathons. Everything that you do has narrative weight, outside of grinding for better gear and EXP. And speaking of grinding, it comes in two forms, getting loot and XP. XP you cap out at level 13, which is high enough for most of us, unless you try to soft block yourself and you need those extra points in Bladed. You can kind of get all the loot that you'll ever need for armor and weapons within the first hour or two of gameplay. There's no trying to find sword +1, sword +2, sword +3. It's just sword. The combat is rather intricate. It's turn-based. It allows for melee ranged magic, potions, defenses, and throwing bombs. It's a lot more than just getting your sword out and slashing things in the action combat situation that most of our RPGs are in right now. But I think my favorite thing is that of the story.
After the Rift War had ended and the Moradel had been disbanded and repelled, Arutha Condoin ruled as prince of the Western Realm for 4 years. In that time, the city of Krondor regained much of the splendor she had lost in the war with the Suranawani. When Kulgan, who had served 2 generations of Kondoins as court mage, retired here to Stardock, Arutha asked for a suitable replacement. I sent Jazhara.
We are now going to talk about the story from a game that is old enough to drink. So, spoilers ahead. If you want to play it, then try your luck at installing it and buying it. It's pretty cheap. Otherwise, hello and welcome to a very quick summary of most of the story, minus some of the side content you can get into. To begin with, you are the main character James, a reformed thief who now works for the prince. Late night, you pick up Jazhara.
I am Jazhara, most recently of Stardock.
A pleasure to meet you, Jazhara.
The little girl pickpockets you on your way back to the castle, and you uncover a plot to force the Keshians and the Empire to go to war.
Hey, stop! Come back here!
We have to catch her.
Damn it! I must be getting old to let her slip past me like that.
Yusef has been using my uncle and his resources, setting Kesh against your prince, and your prince against Kesh.
There were a handful of different ways to handle this, and I chose a brute force. You can talk your way in and get information you need without fighting. A jail explodes. And you rush into a bar where your knight friend William fights off bandits. You find out Bear, the guy in the cover art, killed his Talia.
Oh, William, help me.
Bear is the main antagonist. He sunk the ship in order to obtain the Tear of the Gods, a powerful artifact that the Holy Church is keeping in their possession. The location of the Tear is known by someone in prison, so he went to go there and get the information. William proceeds to leave you in search for Bear and his revenge.
They must pay for this, James. I'm going after them.
The prince tasks you and Jazhara to go get the Tear. In order to do so, you have to find Kendrick to raise a ship and retrieve the Tear of the Gods.
The guild master and journeyman Kendarek were the only members of our guild capable of leading the ritual necessary to raise a large ship.
When you find Kendrick, he was framed for murder. You solve that murder and you go into the wilderness to raise the ship.
Thank the gods!
A priest of the church, Solon, accompanies you.
I've never seen a temple guard out there before.
I didn't even know the Temple of Ishap had guards.
This is your full party for the last half of the game. William takes his band of merry men to go find and fight Bear.
We want their covering fire to make sure that none of these ruffians escape.
His men die and he barely escapes with his life. While unconscious, he fights his inner demons and makes a pact with the god of vengeance.
I swear by Kahuli, I will have my vengeance.
I am Kahuli, the god of vengeance.
While William is making a pact with vengeance, James and his crew make their way to a ledge to raise the ship and retrieve the Tear of the Gods.
This is a place of death.
Unfortunately, it fails. They investigate the nearby town and ask a witch if she was stopping the ships from being raised.
We tried to raise a ship off the point here, but my spell didn't...
Your spell didn't work and you blame an old woman? You think I care about you raising a ship?
But during their investigation, the crew stops an evil priest vampire cult.
The witch who seeks to destroy us has sent her minions to carry out her demonic plans. Kill them, my children! Kill them all!
With that taken care of, they head into a dungeon, solve the only puzzle in the game, and fight the big bad evil dude. And then they raise their ship. they go and get the tear.
Behold, the tear of the gods.
Then they get attacked by Bear.
You will give me the tear, or we will slaughter you to the last man.
The creepy little bad guy lets William kill Bear so that he can get the amulet back and release the Dark One.
You dare to scoff at Kahuli?
Be not afraid, William.
I am the god of vengeance!
Now!
Defend yourself!
Have patience, Dark One. Soon you will be free. Cedes swears it, and so shall it be.
And that is the end of Return to Krondor.